D23.
Yes.
Oh, so let's
very
recap
good.
some of our predictions real quick.
Yep.
Just so people can realize how amazing we are at this. We said Daredevil trailer / release date.
Yep.
Agatha trailer. I suggested we might get a Wonder Man update. We expected a Skeleton Crew trailer. And we were looking for an Andor season 2 update.
Yeah, and then we mentioned about like maybe What If season 3.
Yes.
Maybe something on the Spider-Man animated, and maybe
exactly.
a Star Wars animated thing if we were lucky.
Exactly. And I think overall we kind of got exactly what we predicted. I think the only notable thing we didn't get was any update about Wonder Man.
Yeah, and like the Star Wars stuff was surface level, which makes sense because they want to save any big stuff for later on.
Yeah, absolutely. So not many trailers got officially released.
No.
But the way D23 works is you are allowed to film. They don't say don't film in here. It's not like Hall H where if they say don't film, you're not allowed to film.
Yeah.
D23 is like you can film as much as you want, but we're not going to necessarily release all of this. So we got trailers for unofficial trailers for Thunderbolts. What else did we get?
Asterix.
Yeah, we got a Daredevil trailer via some sneaky filming.
We got Captain America.
We got Captain America new trailer. I think that was all the ones that had to be done sneakily.
Yeah.
And then out in the open, we got a Star Wars animated project in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy with Darth Jar Jar.
Yes.
We got a Skeleton Crew trailer. Oh, we also got a leaked Ironheart trailer. Forgot about that.
And we also got the footage of Fantastic Four that was shown.
We did.
Some of the stuff shown was San Diego Comic-Con's the same thing, just reshown.
We got a first teaser for Percy Jackson season 2.
Yes, which we both forgot about.
We got a new Agatha All Along trailer. So yeah, we got some bits.
We did quite well.
Yeah, the big thing was, in my opinion anyway, was the update on the animated side.
Yes, so there was all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff, kind of their announcements, and then I think it was the following day they had the animation panel.
Yes, the animation panel got its own thing, which is good because it shows that they're trying to give the animated side of Disney Studios the respect it deserves.
Yeah, so they did a lot of their announcements and a lot of things about stuff, animated projects that we I feel like we'd forgotten about and we're like maybe thought were on the back burner.
I think it was we didn't really have a clear timeline on what was like the priority.
Yeah.
So I think we were just kind of plucking at stuff we were more excited for.
So there was Spider-Man did that get a date confirmed or?
I don't believe it got a date. It got a little bit of like footage shown with a big picture of loads of characters drawn up on the screen.
Yes.
In which you can see a future Foundation Spider-Man. You can see Norman Osborn. We also got the confirmation of who's going to be voicing Norman Osborn, which I don't have handy. So they showed some good stuff there. People are a little bit split on the art choices for this show. Because it's like a 3D animation, but it's being animated in a very 2D style. And I think people are a little bit apprehensive about how nicely they're going to sit together.
How it works out.
Yeah, for sure.
There was confirmation that Marvel Zombies is still happening.
Yeah, it's only going to be a 4-episode event.
I'm okay with that. I don't think that necessarily needs to be like overly stretched out.
I mean, if it's 4 like 45-minute episodes, I think that's okay.
We got the Wakanda one. I forgot.
Eyes of Wakanda.
Yeah, which is going to be a
anthology.
Yeah, is that 4 parts or 6 parts?
I'm not sure
I
if we
forget.
actually got an official announcement of
feel
how many
like
episodes. 4 episodes long.
it's 4 episodes.
Um,
It's set in actual MCU
yes.
timeline.
So I've got the bullet points here. It's 4 episodes long.
Mm.
It's canon to the MCU.
Yeah.
An Iron Fist will appear. It will
Yes.
be 3D CGI animation. It will dive deep into Wakandan history. Will take place during different time periods. So the episodes don't necessarily follow on. It might look at like big parts of history, and it will go, "What were Wakanda doing when this happened?"
Yeah.
You're going to see the War Dogs, which were obviously the almost like the CIA of Wakanda, who went out
Yeah.
to like see what was going on. It looks like we're going to see something called a disruptor.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that is. And I believe we're also going to see a bit of an understanding about Claw and how they like got into Wakanda. I believe one of the episodes is rumored to be set around how he broke in and stole the vibranium that like got used in Captain America's shield or whatever.
Got you. I think out of all of that, it's going to be very cool, obviously, to see some of the history stuff. I think the thing for me, I'm like, oh, interesting choice, is the Iron Fist inclusion.
I'm very interested. Is it going to be a Wakandan who was the Iron Fist?
Or is it just similar to how they had Winter Soldier come and kind of like learn to control himself there? Is it an Iron Fist guy come like they take him in to kind of improve him?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Because does that also now set up an Iron Fist to appear in the MCU? A new one that is done properly.
Yeah. it's really, it seems like they want to be able to use Iron Fist, but they're really struggling to work out how to make him fit when so much of the Netflix stuff is being kept, and it is rightly so it's being kept. But the big thing that you wouldn't want to keep from that is Iron Fist. You do find yourself going, do we just give this actor another chance because he wasn't the sole problem and just make sure he gets proper training and give him another go? Or do we try and have a clean break just to try and get the taste out of people's mouth?
I wonder if it'll be a case of like they're going to show that Iron Fist did exist and at least the mantle is something that could return, but maybe like they do it with a fresh character.
Maybe. What If Season 3 is going to be the end of What If.
Yeah.
Which I vehemently disagree with.
I also take this as they say that's the end of this. Like the way they word it almost to me is like they could still do What If, it's just going to be not set up the same way.
Yeah. My problem with What If, although I have enjoyed it, is that What If is inherently designed to be wacky adventures, and they still felt we need to link the series together.
Yeah, they nailed it with like each episode was a different What If scenario, but then they had this like underlying tie to like story that was tying it all together that kind of muddied it.
Give me 24 episode seasons where you literally just let the writers, let the artists like almost work completely freely. Because guess what? You can't damage a character's IP in a What If story. It's actually the only way you can't. You can have Peter Parker act like Homelander in a What If story.
Yeah.
Because it's a What If story. That What If allows you to get away with doing anything weird and wacky you want to do. Why are they not just going, go be weird and wacky?
Yeah, they could do like What If Spider-Man never pulled his punches.
Yeah.
And just went full force on anyone that he hit. Like, oh yeah, I wonder if something that we've talked about that we've said would fit under What If is doing like a Marvel Visions, like what Star Wars has done with Visions. I could see them restructuring, restarting this as maybe calling it Marvel Visions, but it is essentially What If, but it's like also gives them the freedom to let studios do these different styles. Because I think that together, we've said it, like, do the What If stories, so there's like no worry about canon or any issues there, and then you do give it to like 10 studios and let them all do their own style, you're going to get some really interesting like one-off projects.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Another thing that was an update, we got a bit of an update on X-Men 97.
Yes.
A really weird thing that the internet is being very internet about is it looks like the X-Men will be wearing the Grant Morris suits in season 2. These suits are a little bit divisive.
Okay.
Just because of the style of them, people aren't as fond of them. Some people like them, some people don't. But the general consensus is when everyone was so happy with how 97 looked with the character design, why would you change that?
I get you. I
But
mean,
like,
I have to say, we know season 2 was already written, it's the same team behind like the art and stuff. They nailed it with season 1. I give them enough of a leeway and trust that this will work perfectly fine and still look great.
Oh yeah, I'm not particularly concerned, but just scrolling down on like the tweet that I saw announcing it, I shit you not, in the first like 10 tweets, it's these suits are always trash. We'll always have season 1. It's peak. I'm so excited. Oh my god, such a downgrade. Interesting choice. Love to see what they do with it. It's like it's so divisive. It's crazy.
I would love if everyone suddenly goes, you know what? I used to hate these suits. Love them now. Like whatever they do, somehow they just make them like enjoyed by everyone.
At the end of the day, when it comes to animation, as long as you like let the artist draw with a bit of passion, it will probably come out fine 99% of the time. I genuinely believe that in my soul.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that Marvel Zombies, X-Men 97, What If, Eyes of Wakanda, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which were the 5 projects discussed, are all due to come out within the next 18 months. So, yes, basically by the end of 2025.
Yeah. Which is good. Loads of animated projects for us to watch.
I'm excited for all of them.
Going back to Star Wars stuff from D23, the trailer we got for Skeleton Crew. So this is like something I saw a few people on social media and like in the comments on the trailer and stuff on YouTube and whatnot. Is like everyone kind of went, it's really weird seeing a suburban area in Star Wars, but also kind of weird in a cool way.
Yeah,
because it
makes it feel more like an alien planet because it seems normal.
Yeah, it's like all the comments were like, well, yeah, everyone seems to forget that we only ever see Coruscant as like a major city. That's the only like major city planet we've like visually seen. Not everywhere's like Coruscant.
Yeah.
So I'm super down for this. Like what looks like school kids stupidly go into the woods, find a forgotten ship, and then end up in deep space.
It looks so incredibly fun, and I'm going to defend this show with my fucking life because these are children actors who do not deserve the abuse that Star Wars fans throw at the actors in these shows. They seem like they had a fuck ton of fun making it. Visually, it looks really interesting. What's not to love? It's giving Goonies, but in Star Wars.
Yeah. I hope that I know the Star Wars fans that were mad about Acolyte. Obviously, there was still like canon stuff there that was like weaved into the story, timelines and whatnot. This is like from the trailer alone, feels so separate to any of the canon stories and like Skywalker stories. I don't see how they are going to get too mad unless they suddenly like, oh, boom, here's, I don't know, some certain person from a Jedi, and like, oh shit, why did they have to include them?
Well, like, Jude Law's character appears to be a Jedi, doesn't he?
Force user. The kids go, oh my god, you're a Jedi, but we don't.
Imagine it turns out he's a Sith, and like in the 3rd episode, he kills all the kids, and it's a massive bait and switch.
Goodbye, younglings, part 2.
How nuts would that be? I've said for the longest time there is a market for a 12-episode series, limited series, where the first 6 episodes are like kind of sitcom-y, rom-com-y drama, and then the end of the 6th episode, something happens, and the last 6 episodes are just straight up horror. and that sharp change in storytelling style there's money to be made there.
Imagine this ends, and it's like ends around the time of like when the original trilogy was, and everyone's like, "Oh no, they became younglings at the Jedi Temple. We know their fate." But it looks cool. I'm excited for it, considering we've had like no info really.
Yeah,
looks cool.
and we did get an update on Andor season 2.
Yes, we did.
So it takes place over 4 years.
Yep.
There will be a 1-year time jump every third episode.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Mendelsohn is returning as director Krennic. Forrest Whitaker is returning as Saw Gerrera.
Yep.
And Alid Tudyk is returning to voice K2SO.
Yeah, because we, at the end of Andor season 1, when they gave rough details about what season 2 would be, they said it's going to basically ramp up in timeline speed, which is obviously this every 3 episodes it jumps.
Yeah.
Because it's going to end with basically being Rogue One time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
Honestly, you know me, when it comes to like dramatic TV, I'm not a big rewatcher. Andor season 1 might need to get a rewatch before this comes out. Even if it's just the episodes with my boy Andy Serkis.
I still stand by my prediction at the end of that season, which I said he's still alive.
I choose to believe he is. I choose to believe he is.
He's still alive, but I don't think his fate's going to be very good in season 2.
No, he lives forever. He will never die. Of course, the most exciting bit of news for us is the Daredevil trailer that got leaked.
Yes.
Obviously, we didn't watch the leak because that'd be wholly inappropriate. We just read the word-for-word articles.
Yeah, we read the descriptions of the trailers that were shown.
Yeah. Straight off the bat, White Tiger looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, that seems really cool.
Sadly, the actor's passed away.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
No.
So, Kamar Dolores, I may have mispronounced that, I do apologise, was cast in it, and we saw some set leaks that made people think that White Tiger was involved. But because of how plain-ish the suit seemed, people like, that might just be a nice base suit for them to be able to CGI over later, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Seems like it is White Tiger. But he sadly passed away in December of last year.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's tough because this has been rewritten and different things. We've not really got details of who's in it other than the main like 3, 4, whatever. So it's not like they can be like, oh, so and so who plays this in the upcoming Daredevil, because then that revealed it. So unfortunately, yeah, it's a bit like what happened with Ahsoka and with
Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, he didn't get to see the reception, and this is going to be the same, unfortunately.
I'm very excited for this. White Tiger's a really cool character. That adds a bit of mysticism, and I'm always down for a bit more mysticism, especially in New York. I really enjoy mysticism in big, urban cities where you don't associate magic at all. And it opens the door for his daughter to come in and take the role later on, which is exactly what happens in the comics. I believe White Tiger is a bit more villainous, and then she takes over the role and becomes more of a hero, if I'm correct.
There was also a clip described where there's multiple masks shown.
Yes, multiple Daredevil masks.
Man's gone full Iron Man with Mark 1 through 5.
Well, we saw it in She-Hulk. He was grabbing some.
Well, yeah, and he had
grabbing some extra suits.
Yeah, and he had different stuff on from the Netflix era.
We know John Berthnell is back as Punisher.
Yep.
We know Foggy and Karen are back.
Yep. We know Kingpin's back.
It also appears that maybe Matt and Kingpin aren't completely against each other in this season. At least in this trailer they were given, seems like for at least part of the show they will be spending more time working out how to deal with Muse rather than how to deal with each other, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think it's gonna, like, I made the prediction that obviously before we got all the details, I was going off the idea that, there was a snap and Kingpin started to get control back. It's obviously going to be a case of, like, he's probably trying to keep Kingpin in line and they have their usual, like, cat and mouse or whatever. Then whatever the Muse character comes along and obviously poses a bigger threat to them both, or at least to Matt, where he's like, goes to Kingpin and like wants him to, look, you just chill out for a couple of weeks while we deal with this. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, we know based off the end of Echo, they're teasing him running for mayor.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure how aware you are of this, but obviously in the comics he does become mayor. He creates his own task force of villains that are basically legally hunting down superheroes, because superheroes are now banned in New York.
Mm.
And then he gets eventually caught for being a criminal, because he's still a criminal while being mayor, and goes to prison. And the person who takes his place is the one and only Luke Cage. So I'm hoping we get some confirmation that we keep our Netflix Luke Cage. I forget the actor's name because he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was.
But Charlie Cox has also had a little bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge that there might be some, how do you describe it, interesting collisions with the MCU. So maybe a couple of cameos from MCU characters making a subtle appearance.
She-Hulk returns.
I would love
just a booty call on like episode 3.
So it's been really funny, as I've said before. Me and Jenna are rewatching all the Netflix stuff.
Yes.
And every time Matt does something that's just a little bit horny, I just turn to Jenna. I was like, I'd like to remind you, this man may be a devout Catholic. He's a massive slut. And do not like. I'm not slut shaming him. I'm slut stating a fact. Matthew Murdock is the largest slut in Marvel history, and do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking otherwise. But I'm really curious to see if we. It'd be just. I love comic books because of the interaction between characters, and Marvel does a lot of that interaction through New York. So Daredevil is at the heart of a lot of them interactions alongside your Spider-Mans and your Kingpins. So having Daredevil and Kingpin in this show, and now they have access to the wider MCU, I am just there like, give me some fun interactions. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be much. Just give me something.
Yeah.
And that's I'm really excited for this show. We know a lot of the crew and the writers and stuff like that from Daredevil when it was on Netflix have come to work on this. We know what them people do when they're left to get shit done. So I'm not worried about it.
I'm gonna make a prediction for an MCU character that shows up.
Okay.
Happy. Because if you remember in Spider-Man, he mentions to Happy about, oh, you've had a few things go missing. Something maybe you need to get a lawyer to. Like, he mentions about that. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's like an episode where Happy rocks up as, need my lawyer.
Yeah. The Thunderbolts trailer.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it. Sauce. It feels good.
It does.
That kind of the described action scene. And no, that one kind of like legally got leaked. It was quite funny, but still. Where they all realise they've been sent there separately.
Yeah.
And you get to see the new Taskmaster suit, which looks fucking lit.
Yes.
The new Ghost suit, which also looks lit.
Yeah. And
the kind of like them bouncing off each other. That looks fun.
Do we know who Bob is?
Yes. Sentry is the understanding.
Okay.
So it seems like later on in the trailer, there's a description of a man walking out with like loads of people pointing guns at him in like a medical dress, which I believe is Bob. Bob might just been someone who's also in the prison, but I believe it's Bob. And also in the trailer, you see someone picking up a belt buckle.
Okay.
That I believe is the Sentry belt buckle.
Got you.
So that should have been Stephen Ewan, which we missed out on. That is the understanding currently. So I believe either Sentry went a bit loco and killed everyone in the secure facility he was being held in. So they sent the Thunderbolts in to neutralize him. Or he's being held by like a different government, and because what's her face, Claudia, who seems to be a little bit evil, seems to be the person who sent them.
Yeah.
Maybe she sent them in to get this asset because
Possibly.
we would like the big powerful man. Not quite sure. The only kind of valid criticism I've seen is Bucky seems to have regressed. By the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was like happy. He was integrating in society. He had a nice short haircut to show his growth and that he wasn't being grumpy and moody anymore. And once again, the long hair is back and he's looking a bit grumpy and moody. So people are a little bit worried that after all that character development for Bucky, they might have regressed him slightly. I
wonder if it'll be more of a case of they haven't really shown properly what it's going to be a case of like he doesn't want to get involved, but you also have to look at it as like he'd improved and he was better, and then you get like Anthony Mackie's character, why am I forgetting? Obviously Sam then disappears off and becomes Captain America and is just deep in all that. He's kind of back on his own.
I'm hoping it's going to be kind of a every time I get out, they pull me back in type situation. Instead of he's just regressed and he's like there. Some people think in the trailer we got a little teaser that looked like they were looking over a city. So some people think whoever this entity is the people who bought Avengers Tower. I feel like that'd be a really fucking boring way to handle it. But we'll wait and see. I want it now. Now that we know that that Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doom, go all in, make it that building have been bought by Latveria as their embassy.
And he's just back.
Yeah, he's chilling back in Tony's bedroom as Doctor Doom. I don't give a fuck. Go all in on it.
I reckon it's more likely going to be... Do you know what I think it'd be cool is if Kingpin bought it?
That's what I've been hoping for since day one, after Baxter building. But now that we know...
that's different universe.
Now that we know it's a different universe, it doesn't make any sense. Agatha trailer, very similar to what we'd already seen. It is definitely a little bit more interesting than the first trailer we got.
Yeah, I would say it looked better.
Seems very Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Inspired. There's a lot of Wizard of Oziness to it.
But I think that's them kind of going back to how WandaVision was with the like throwback to styles. I think this is going to be like a mixing styles of witch films.
Yeah.
Into this and just stylistically. I think it could be quite cool. It'd be interesting if it ends. Something I was thinking of is like, obviously we don't know what the current situation is with Wanda. We presume she's alive because we never saw her body.
Number one, if you don't see a body, they're not dead.
So it'd be interesting if this show ends with a reveal of Wanda being alive somewhere.
Ironheart trailer once again looked really good to me.
Yeah.
After the events of Wakanda Forever, she's gone back. She's been kicked out of MIT.
Well, she's back at MIT, but obviously she didn't get to keep the suit, so then she wants to rebuild another suit and starts doing...
And she can't get them to like fund the project because there's so many geniuses at MIT. Why should we give all of the budget to you?
Yeah.
Looks like she might turn to a little bit of a life of crime.
Goes back to some of her old ways.
It seems very much, as it should be, to be kind of pointing out that Tony Stark only got to be the hero he was because he already had the resources, which he did get from selling weapons of mass destruction. And instead, she's trying to be as big a hero, so she's kind of like, we're just committing robbery against banks. That's a lesser evil.
Yeah.
and then I will be able to do good for actual people with the suit.
Yeah.
And I think if they try and tell the story that way, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm down for the idea of watching her try to rebuild this suit with her own resources, not Wakanda tech.
Yeah, you know how I felt about her appearance in Wakanda Forever. I think this show's going to be a heater.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
for sure.
Did you notice the memes going around about the Percy Jackson teaser?
No.
So people were comparing the teaser for season 1, where he goes, "My name's Percy Jackson," versus him saying the same line in the season 2 teaser.
Has his voice dropped an octave or whatever?
About 4.
I have to say, I saw the teaser and I was like, you can tell he's aged.
Well, do you not remember when we were watching season 1? Like, by the end of the season, he'd gone from, like, being, like, 2 inches taller than Annabeth to being, like, a foot taller. I was like, that really hurts the sell of it's been, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so tough.
And obviously, like, once you start growing, you don't stop when you're that age. It's just how it happens. So, yeah, he's gone from, like,
you can have growth spurts.
Exactly. But, like, in the first one, it's like, "Hi, my name's Percy Jackson." Then this one's like, "Hi, I'm Percy Jackson."
It's
just funny.
It's one of those like unfortunate things that it's tough to avoid when you're doing like child actors, because unless you literally film it all non-stop, back-to-back seasons of filming, this is going to happen. And yeah, I mean, look at like a prime example is look at Stranger Things. Like that final season's coming out soon, who knows. And like, look at when they started season 1, and then look at their characters now.
Yeah. Then of course we got the look at the Captain America trailer.
Yes.
I'm very excited for this film, Hori.
Red Hulk looks real good. It's a nice.
I'm incredibly excited for this film.
We also in the clips there's moments where he's more with the new Falcon. And it looks like they have from the descriptions, the Falcon is now camoed, which I think is kind of cool.
I'm so incredibly excited that they turned Captain America and Falcon into a duo, and the mantles of the duo. Like, I love it so much. Yeah. I remember the hype when when Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out. And that was like when I didn't know as much, but I was much better at noticing when they were like, "You should care about this person." I'm like Googling this motherfucker's name. I'm like, "Why did you give me that person's full name?" I Google it. It's like, "Oh, he was the next Falcon." Awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really excited for, honestly, everything that's due to come out in 2025 from Marvel has me incredibly excited.
Let's hope they can stick it.
Like, we're due to have Thunderbolts, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Daredevil Born Again. All live action projects in 2025.
Pretty solid. Also, we're going to get X-Men 97.
Yeah. Like, I am very excited to live in a world with potentially a very good Fantastic Four and Daredevil project coming out within months of each other.
Yeah. That is going to be cool.
Yeah, like, we might be in the best timeline again. Took us a little while. We took the long way around, but we might be back in the best timeline. I think that's everything major from D23.
I think it was. It was a fairly solid. The only thing I still wish they'd shown was an updated MCU timeline. Like,
yes.
Slate, but I guess we'll have to wait.
Oh, there is heavy rumours that Marvel Studios is getting ready to release a feature-length animated project.
Oh, yes.
Which the assumption is, naturally so, that it's going to be a film to end the X-Men 97 series. So it might be like 3 seasons of X-Men 97 and then a film to end it.
That could be cool. I also wonder if this was what the animated budgeted thing we originally heard rumors, and we were like, "Oh, is this another show that's coming?" Maybe it was actually this.
Yeah, very, very, very possible.
Oh, I will also one last thing on the Star Wars stuff. They mentioned about Mando and Grogu.
Yes.
Showed a couple of first looks and stuff of that, which is finished filming and is now in the start of post-production.
Okay.
I think is what they said, which is good because obviously now he's on Fantastic Four. They've obviously just been busy away filming that without us really knowing. Yeah, there was some cool shots in that, and I think that's going to be really good as well when that comes out.
So do I. I'm excited for everything. I try my best to be excited for everything until I'm given a reason not to be.